friends, another Saturday and another story. There is a huge buzz around Metaverse and everyone saying it will be the next technology or the technology to look out for in the next decade. Emergent research, a growing market research and strategy consulting company, forecasts that worldwide the metaverse market size is estimated to reach over $1,600 billion by 2030, with revenues rising at a compounded annual growth rates or CAGR of 43% during the period of the forecast. Should we not know then as to what metaverse is all about, if it is going to be that important in our lives in times to come, maybe in the next 5-6 years? Friends, this Saturday, let me explain you what metaverse is. Jane Signero, an American writer, had said, our realities are make-believe. Whatever we make ourselves believe, we experience. That's well said. Is metaverse make-believe? I wonder if metaverse can take us from the real into unreal and the other way around, like Advaita Vedanta tells us. Let's find out. Skeet is a science fiction novel by Neil Shusterman. It's an utopian story that conceives a future without disease, without hunger, without war or crime, and focuses on a society that functions fairly well under the guidance of the Thunderhead. What is Thunderhead? It's an advanced cloud technology that oversees everything. The Skeets, independent of the Thunderhead, with the help of AI algorithms, artificial intelligence algorithms, keep overpopulation in check. By doing what? By killing people. The story then goes through the machinations of the Skeets versus the society. I'll give you another look at. Can we use copies of ourselves to represent ourselves? Can we communicate with each other and virtually build our own community, another community? Can we use digital currency to buy food or maybe anything under the sun? Can we travel virtually through the metaverse for fun? In another functional and fictional odyssey, Player One, which is an American science fiction action film based on Ernest Cline's novel of the same name, and was directed by Steven Spielberg. Set in the year 2045, it showed people escaped the problems plaguing the earth into a virtual world called the Oasis. You can let your imagination run. Are these scenarios possible in future? Now for something real and albeit in a virtual world. 27.7 million players attended Fortnite's Travis Scott virtual concert, and elsewhere someone bought a digital Gucci bag for $4,115 US. You know what it costs in real life, a real Gookie bag, $3,500. That's the real price of Gookie, the fashion giant. And what did they do? They offered a digital version on Roblox, a gaming platform. The only difference is this Gookie cannot be used. It's digital. It's a digital version. This spend is real money. The spend, however, is real money. In a virtual world, proving the adage that it takes all kinds to make this world. Metaverse is meta and universe. Meta is a prefix that denotes something of a higher order or is transcendent. Metaverse is the next iteration of the internet's front end. The way you see internet today, another form will appear in future. That is the metaverse. Mark Zuckerberg defines it as a virtual world where people can interact, hold meetings, buy property and do much more. What property? Digital. Imagine a virtual world where we live, work, shop and interact with others. All from the comfort of our home or bed in a physical world. What makes it possible is a network of 3D virtual worlds using AR/VR technologies, augmented reality and virtual reality technologies to interact with digital domain in more realistic, experiential and immersive ways than what was possible earlier. Suppose we wish to surf Amazon. What could happen? The metaverse will allow virtual hands to pick up and manipulate objects. Our voices then can give instructions to the machines, like you do on Alexa, or talk to other people. Roblox, Minecraft, and other immersive video games are all built on metaverse. Roblox has 220 million monthly players, with 32 of them actually becoming millionaires playing the game that they developed. Metaverse is expected to cross $100 billion this year, 2022. Metaverse will be the interface through which we will engage with Web3 tools and applications. Can it create a virtual economy that runs parallel to our real one? We have seen Web 1, Web 2, Web 3 will drive Metaverse. We'll see something more of that a little later. Is this in the realm of fiction? No. The 5G technology will enable it. Will all these new technologies lead to fresh set of regulations? That's something that we will have to see, wait and watch. Will the governments let this happen without a bother? Will the VCs and their LPs control the web in future? All important questions to answer before Web3 tools take over virtually in our lives. Another concern is, of course, energy use, since Web3 tools are all built on blockchain, and blockchain is energy intensive. So what is blockchain? It's a new method of storing data online, which is built around important concepts. There are two concepts. One is encryption, the other is distributed computing. First, let's see what encryption is. It means data stored on the blockchain can only be accessed by people who have permissions to access it. Such data may be stored on a government or maybe on a corporate computer. Second is the distributed computing. It means that every file is shared across computers, many computers or many servers. If data on a computer does not match with its copies on the other computers or servers, that file becomes invalid, which means we are creating multiple copies of the data. Simply put, no one can change the data except, of course, the one who creates it, without the permission of either the person who owns it or the entire distributed network. Except for the one who creates it, no one else can change it without the permission of others or the entire distributed network. Both concepts read together mean that the data can be stored in a way so as to always be under the control of the person who owns it, irrespective of where it is stored, whether a government or a corporate owned server. Now if someone changes it, then obviously the copies of the unchanged version are there elsewhere on the nodes. What does this mean? Firstly, the owner, even if it be the government, can never access or change the data without the keys to the encryption that proves that that data belongs to the owner, in this case the government. Secondly, suppose the owner or the government shuts down or removes their servers from the network, the data will still be accessible on one of the hundreds of other computers that it is stored in. Remember, it's a distributed network. Guess what is going on? A journey to Metaverse is on. Web 1, like I said, was the internet we all love to use, what we are using today. Web 2 is the user-generated web influenced by the social media, that too we are using today. Web 3 is currently in development, which drives the Metaverse. It is designed to be decentralized, which means it will not be controlled by either the government or corporations or any individual for that matter. Metaverse is a new cutting-edge Web 3.0 technology. The technical infrastructure of Web 3 is open, built on open source software, is trustless and is permissionless. Let's see what this trustless and permissionless mean. Transactions happen between two individuals or entities without the need for a trusted third party, which means communications cannot be manipulated. You don't need a third party to authenticate, right? That's the way transactions happen. And permissionless means none of the parties need to seek a permission from a third party like the service provider or the government or a corporate while we are transacting. No permission is required. Technically it means that all the so-called middlemen needed to run an organization, such as the bankers in a financial sense, the bankers, the lawyers, the accountants, the landlords, everyone will become redundant. This is not a fancy stuff. It's already happening. Did you know that decentralized users can use non-fungible tokens, NFTs, and a cryptocurrency called Mantha to buy digital real estate? Will then the government seek to regulate the end-to-end encryption of the messages we may send in future? Otherwise, what is a way of knowing what is being transacted? Only time will tell. Metaverse is work in progress and may take a couple of years more. Research in ambient computing is the key. Specific electronic equipment to connect to the metaverse will also be required. For a 3D world to come alive, we will need computers to exist all around us with screens fitted into almost everything, with interaction with them happening by gestures and maybe even our thoughts. It is predicted that a quarter of the population will spend at least 1 hour on Metaverse by 2026. Facebook invested $10 billion on Metaverse just the last year in 2021. What for? It is pioneering a wrist-based augmented reality controller. What will it do? It will read the signals sent to our hands through neurons in our brains. The controller will then sense and relay our gestures to the machines. Some more science or fiction or both. What Metaverse will be, whatever that is, Metaverse will be a reality sooner than later. Friends, Adi Shankara's Viveka Chudamani discusses the ways in which the sense of discrimination or Viveka to sift the real from the unreal is of utmost importance in the spiritual pursuit, spiritual quest of every one of us. Realization is not attaining a new state. It is realizing the true nature of what we are. Self-realization is to know what we are. It could be fuzzy in its realization. That process could be fuzzy. But each one of us understands inherent consciousness or chit or chaitanya. Brahma Satyam Jagat Mithya is the fundamental teaching of the school of Advaita Vedanta. Maybe Metaverse is the modern day vehicle to reach us there. That's all for this Saturday. Until we meet the next Saturday, Dhanyavad, Namaskar and thank you.